You know, folks, the funniest part about JD Vance to me was that he was vetted. Yeah, anytime a political candidate gets the spot, they always get vetted to see what they have in their past, what they may have said or what they may have done. What do they have on their rap sheet? Well, JD Vance got vetted and they decided to still go forward with this guy, or they just didn't care. And nothing about Vance from the minute he was announced has made sense to me, because normally when someone picks a running mate, they pick someone who they feel will win over people that the front runner can't. That's usually the strategy, is to bring in people that the front runner can't. But what they did here was they put out a guy even more extreme than Trump, but he's bad at it. He's like really bad and really awkward at being extreme like Trump. And so we have sat here on the channel time and time again, and I have shown you clip after clip of unearthed JD Vance videos. And it seems like every other day a new one is coming out. And you say to yourself, how did they know this guy said all these things and stood for all these things and mocked our generals and called them idiots and still decided that it was a good idea to put him on the ticket? And yeah, folks, this next video I'm going to show you is another unearthed clip of JD Vance talking about how we have idiot generals. I wished I was making it up, but roll the clip.
You know, I know we brought you on because I noticed that tweet you put out. You said, I really don't care about Ukraine. You know, I've said the same thing here. I don't know how you're being received, but I get beat up a little bit for it. What's your position on it? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, Eric, same. The left-wing media has really gone after me over this tweet. And, you know, I did a TV appearance to back it up. I mean, look, I think the three things that we have to remember about the people who are beating the war drums for Ukraine is this. First, they're the same people that tried to take down Trump's presidency over the fake Russia scam. And we should never forget that this is all tied up in their ridiculous obsession with Russia. The second thing is that Ukraine has ultimately nothing to do with our national security. And the third thing is that it's a huge distraction from the issues that do have something to do with our national security. Think about all of the people who are dying of drug overdose deaths. Think about all the people who are affected by the crime, the lawlessness, the sex trafficking at our southern border. I think our country would be much better served by declaring the Mexican cartels a terrorist organization and sending our troops to fight them than they are going to Russia, where we might very well blunder ourselves into another war. Remember, the people commanding our troops are the same people who couldn't even get out of Afghanistan without having 13 American Marines killed. We are not led by smart or competent people. It's time to focus on our problems at home and stop playing policeman in the world with the idiot generals that we have at the helm right now.
Folks, I don't think I've ever seen anything more blatantly disrespectful than that. If you listen to that ending when he says, you know, they couldn't even get out without having casualties, who says that? You know, I didn't serve this country. I've never did any military service at all, but I have more respect than to ever say something like that. And here's a guy who did serve, and yet he would say something like that and then refer to them as idiot generals. And the MAGA Republicans are perfectly okay with that. That's why I say that Donald Trump hijacked the Republican Party, because this is really weird, folks. The fact that we're here in 2024 and someone on a Republican ticket has a history of being so disrespectful to vets and so disrespectful to our military, and they're the front runners. You know, when I say Donald Trump hijacked the Republican Party, if you go back 10 or 12 years ago, things that used to get you into an argument faster than anything with a Republican is if you brought up the military in any way, and you better support every war that they wanted to fight. If you didn't, they would tell you that you were unpatriotic and you didn't love your country. They love to say that more than anything. When we stood up and said, you know what, we disagree with the war in Iraq, we got told that we were unpatriotic and that we hated the troops, and we didn't support the troops. And we're going, no, we support the troops. We just don't think this is a necessary war. We don't think we should be there fighting this fight. But here he is criticizing them for the casualties and then referring to them as idiot generals. And is anyone really shocked that when he was vetted, if this clip came up, it went over their heads? Well, no, I wouldn't be shocked, because of all that Donald Trump has said about the military, JD Vance just fits right in. And if I sat here and tried to go down the long list of insults that Donald Trump has hurled at our military, I don't know if I would have enough time here on YouTube to do that. I don't know if I would have time to cover that my camera wouldn't just stop and tell me it overheated, because this guy is continuously running down our vets, running down our military, and they're okay with it. It's the weirdest thing, considering that 10 or 12 years ago, if anybody on any side of the aisle had called our veterans suckers and losers, that would have been it. They would have been disqualified. If they had have mocked a prisoner of war and said they preferred people who didn't get caught, that would have been it. They would have got disqualified. And this comment from JD Vance would have never got him past the first guard. He would have never got past the first round of vetting if that statement was in his bag of tricks. But here we are today, and they're perfectly okay with it. And that's the part that I will never understand, how they just changed their stripes right with Donald Trump. They rolled right with it. And they get mad at us for calling it out or pointing it out or bringing the receipts. But for those of us who were paying attention the whole time, we're saying, wait a minute, this is really weird. You guys, the ones that used to get into arguments with us over the military quicker than anything, you guys aren't upset over that? You're not offended? You don't think that was a ridiculous statement to make? Or are you just going to roll with it like you did the suckers and losers? Are you just going to roll with it like you did, dodging STDs was my personal Vietnam? I mean, they've said every possible disrespectful thing they could about veterans, and MAGA just eats it up. And now they're running down and mocking middle-class people every chance they get, and working people. And they're rolling with it. And they're the working people, and it makes no sense. The working people are sitting back cheering it on. It's just no different to me. I've said it so many times, but it's just that wrestling villain. People goes to see him, and they love it when he calls them trailer park trash. They love it when he tells them to, grow up and be a real man. I don't know. Does MAGA like being abused? I mean, are they people who just absolutely have a thirst for pain? Are they addicted to misery? Is that what this is? Are they like the person who just wants to have a toxic partner in their life so they'll have something to bitch about? I mean, I know I'm just sort of thinking out loud on this one, but really, it makes you wonder, because they clearly don't stand for anything. If they stood for anything, these types of things would matter. If they stood for anything, these types of things would be deal breakers. These are the moments where they go, you know what? No, I can't get behind that, because a few years ago, I was pro-military and don't you dare insult the military. But they roll with it, which tells me that either A, they just don't care, or B, they're addicted to misery, or C, both. Or D, you guys come up with the answer and drop it in my comment section, and let's try to figure out the psyche behind this, because it's mind-boggling to me that no matter how many receipts we bring, no matter how many unearthed clips we bring, they'll still sit back and go, yeah, well, at least they ain't a Democrat. I don't know how we got here, but we're here, and we're going to be here for a long time. I really believe we're going to win this thing come November 5th, but we're going to be picking up the pieces to this for a long time. And you're going to see JD Vance go out and try to rebrand himself. You're going to see a lot of them go out and try to rebrand themselves, and we can't be fooled when they do, and when they come up with a slicker way to spin the same bullshit Donald Trump has been spinning. That's what they'll do. They'll just try to find a way to say it in a slicker, more toned down way. And we have to keep our eye on the ball and realize that we have to save democracy in 2024. And every time an election happens, you have to be there to vote. You can't just set it out and come back for the presidential ones. You have to be there for every single one. And you're going to have to vote straight ticket Democrat to give Kamala people to work with, so that we can get things balanced back out and we can get things moving in the right direction. Otherwise, we're just going to be in for this for a long time. But I think it's very important that we bring these kind of clips and we remind MAGA of who the Republican Party once was, because they have completely lost sight of it. Well, folks, if you've enjoyed this video, I would ask that you hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. It doesn't cost you anything to do so. Be sure to hit it. And if you like exclusive content, check out our memberships here on YouTube, or go over to Patreon. I've got it tagged in the link of the video, and you can check us out over there. We're pretty much on all the social media platforms, just trying to get the word out. And so follow us wherever you consume your content. And if you want to leave a comment, leave a comment. If not, leave a blue heart. Let me know how you're doing. I hope everyone's staying safe in these storms. And we're just going to keep pushing forward, and we're not going back, because we can't have people like JD Vance one heartbeat away from being our president.